All right, folks, welcome back. Crisis report. I'm doing a little halftime special in between the sports ball. Get you guys locked in, tabulating, doing the things, and we are here to tell you all about the stuff. And the stuff is not good. Food Lines USA, baby. That's right. A lot of problems going on with the SNAP benefits being shut off. People are having a lot of problems. So we are going to cover that and everything else. Hopefully, you are having a good Sunday. We are very busy right now, but we will have more on that to come up and explain kind of what's going on. We are glad you're here. If you could hit that like button and do the subscribe thing, share it out, and tell everybody about the crisis report, and hopefully sign up on Substack and get a transcript of this. We've just been kind of floating back and forth for about 2 months now on the same subscribers. Go up on 5, down on 5, up on 5, down on 5. Yep. Get this into your email, and you can find all of the links and everything. And if you're into it, great. If you're just like, hey, I want this every once in a while, all you got to do is delete. That's it. Many people really like getting all this and kind of doing it in the way that we do it, where it is a consolidated 15 to 20 minutes of everything. So you don't got to waste your time. You can strap on the earbuds. You can listen to what's going on, and you can move on with your life. So as much as we all want to spend time sitting on YouTube for 48 hours a day, you probably shouldn't do that. In fact, you should be doing much other things. And that's why I created the crisis report, so you can just listen to everything in a very consolidated fashion in about 15 minutes. So we appreciate you being here. We're going to take you through everything. Hopefully you would like to become a member like Tennessee Celtic. We'd love to have that. All you got to do is sign up. There are links in the description amongst that and other places you can go to find all of the places that Crisis Report and the mother channel of PrepperNow are going. Just put out a short. Borg didn't like it, so it's getting suppressed. So go check it out. Obviously, it's whenever things get suppressed, that means it's an important video. Now, of course, it is Sunday and there's sports ball going on, but you can kind of tell when the old powers that be don't like what you're putting out there. This one fits into that bill. All right. Well, let's get going on the crisis report. About 3 minutes in, we got some kids in the classroom. Halftime on the sports ball. Let's get you locked in. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. We will be having more on that at the end. God bless you all. Here we go. Oh, wait, we need the proverbial whoosh. Zuckerberg and his wife have expanded their existing BioHub initiative with AI-powered biology to cure and prevent diseases. The next decade is going to be really exciting, and we think that some of humanity's biggest dreams are finally coming within reach. I'm not touching anything you got, Zuckerberg. Nothing. If they were like, you get to elect one person to put onto a rocket ship and float to Alpha Centauri, number one on my list would be Zuckerberg. Get on the rocket and leave. UK water companies and government are drawing up emergency plans for severe drought in 2026. Average reservoir storage at 63% compared to the average of 76% for this time of year. Trump says that a tariff stimulus check of $2,000 will be paid to everyone except rich people. We'll have more on that coming. Inflation. Neurology study says rising cognitive disability, a serious difficulty concentrating, remembering, and making decisions, a public health concern. It's up 90% in cognitive prime adults 18 to 39 years old, with white young adults showing the most dramatic rise of 118%. Back to Zuckerberg. They're trying to make you dumb. The shorts, the reels, the TikTok, all of that is designed to anesthetize you and make you stupid. And if you don't see it, you're stupid. Cognitive disability. It is happening. Trust me, I see it every day. It's bad. President Trump announces plans to issue a tariff dividend of $2,000 per person. President Trump just accused Democrats of terrorizing Americans to hand massive insurance corporations an advantage. A lot of people's health insurance are going up exponentially. President Trump and FHFA Director Bill Pulte have announced the new relief measures for a 5-year, 10-year, and 15-year mortgages aimed at boosting affordability and 50-year mortgage. We'll have more of that in a moment. Ireland's Football Association voted overwhelmingly to ask UEFA to suspend Israel from European competitions. Trump wants Washington's new $3.7 billion Commanders Stadium in D.C. named after him. The White House has pressed the team's ownership on the idea, and officials suggest it may happen. I say they call them the Washington Dons, baby. We're coming there to lay it down, and if you don't like it, you're fired. I think the Washington Dons is better than the Commanders, full disclosure, no matter what. Major U.S. airlines canceled 600-plus flights on Friday and Saturday to meet an FAA order cutting flights by 4% at 40 major airports. We have covered that. Nationwide air traffic control staffing shortages have led to nearly 1,900 U.S. flight delays. Defense Minister Katz says until the return of all the hostages has fallen and until the last tunnel, we will continue to operate with force to realize our goals in Gaza. England is bracing for potentially the worst drought in decades next year. Reservoirs and groundwater remain low after months of record dryness, and forecasts suggest another winter with below-average rainfall. Water companies and the government are preparing emergency restrictions that may go beyond hosepipe bans, including limits on some business use. Michael Burry, The Big Short, he said in the 21st century, water would be the resource of need. Look at Tehran as well, as they're literally almost out of water completely. We covered this yesterday. That's why you come here, because we cover the big things. Okay, sitting there watching big long lines at Snap, yeah, that's a terrible thing. But you not having access to water, that's frickin' important. 36-foot effigy of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer was burned at the Edenbridge Bonfire Night event in Kent. No, that was not done because they love him. Old deep-sea fishing nets from Brittany, France are being repurposed to protect Ukrainians from Russian explosive drones. A local charity has sent about 280 kilometers of horsehair nets, which tangle drone propellers like a spider's web. They're used to shield roads, hospitals, and frontline positions. United Kingdom is sending military personnel and equipment to Belgium after drones suspected but not proven to be Russian entered Belgian airspace, temporarily shutting Brussels airport. NATO allies, including Germany, are also helping with the anti-drone measures. Drone warfare is the warfare of the future. Over $5 billion in U.S. weapons sales to NATO allies and Ukraine are delayed because of government shutdown. They have furloughed key staff and have processed arms exports. Netanyahu's office says there will be no Turkish boots on the ground in the present and the past, in the future, specifically in the International Stabilization Force. Newly leaked documents reveal that New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani plans to terminate all city contracts with companies tied to Israel and pull city funds from banks that finance the Jewish state, according to Just the News. Chinese scientists are developing a new drug to extend human life to 150 years. Not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Breakthrough hinges on a grapeseed compound, PCC1, which in tests destroyed aged cells in mice, extending their lifespan by over 9%. This holy grail technology is now being adopted and adapted for humans. Manhattan-sized interstellar object 3I Atlas has lost its tail after passing the sun, which is defying conventional explanations. Mr. Blue Beam on my shoulder, they would never fake anything to make you comply, make you comply, make you comply. It's almost like we need an alien race to come down so that humanity can unite. Mr. Blue Beam on my shoulder. Housing director confirms Trump administration is working on a 50-year mortgage after President Trump. Japan issues tsunami warning following 6.7 magnitude earthquake. TASS writes that the total volume of external financial assistance, excluding arms supplies, funds for their purchase, and investments in Ukraine's military industrial complex for the period of November 1st, 2024 to October 31st, 2025 amounted to 52 billion, of which 22.9 billion came from interest on frozen Russian assets. And the Rybnya village in Zaporozhye Oblast has come under control of the Russian army. The Russians are chewing up more land in preparation to basically try to stave off any sanctions and get some footing for their negotiations. But is the U.S. officially preparing for World War III? Yes. Excuse me. Yes. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is setting the stage, declaring this is a 1939 moment, the year World War II happened. His Arsenal of Freedom speech sounds like a direct warning. Enemies gather, threats grow. You feel it, I feel it. The official messaging is shifting from competition to preparation for a major conflict. Folks, get ready. Highlights: Russian Defense Ministry briefing November 9th. Russian forces delivered strikes on energy facilities supplying Ukrainian military industrial enterprises. Russian air defense systems took down 7 HIMARS rockets, 247 Ukrainian fixed-wing drones, 24 hours. Ukrainian army lost about 1,330 troops in the special military op zone in 24 hours. Russian units repulsed 6 Ukrainian attacks in the Kharkov region. Assault groups from the Russian armed forces successfully advanced in Krasnomarnsk in the Donetsk People's Republic. Who else can announce Russian names like Crisis Report? Residents of Volgograd report that widespread blackouts following Ukraine missile strikes targeting the city's combined heat and power plant, CHP. Tsunami struck the northern coast of Japan following a 6.9 magnitude earthquake hit the country's coast. Authorities issued evacuation warnings for coastal residents as waves reached several areas. And the median age of first-time home buyers, going back a little while, 1980, 28 years old. 1990, 30 years old. 2000, 31 years old. 2010, 32 years old. 2024, 38 years old. 2025, 40 years old. The American dream is disappearing right before your eyes. Modernist architecture is designed to make you sick and anxious. That's a study from Cambridge University. Results revealed that facades with regularly spaced elements at approximately 3 cycles per degree exhibited the highest stress metrics. Yes, everything around you is built to stress you out, particularly when combined with high contrast ratios and consistent repetition. Vertical wooden slats and vertical metal screening elements produce the most pronounced indicators of visual stress, while more varied geometric compositions demonstrated substantially lower stress metrics. Nope, doubler. French activist Jean-Aude Ganon, father of 3, has been imprisoned because he filmed Afghan migrant gangs that are starting to appear in a small village. Now he's set to appear before a judge later today because it's the same playbook they're using all over Europe. Special Ops Mothership has reemerged in the Caribbean. OSINT confirmed the clandestine MV Ocean Trader Special Op Mothership back in the southern Caribbean, 80 kilometers west of Grenada. Rapid turnaround. She was seen in Ponce November 3rd for resupply. This quick return proves the high priority and enduring commitment of the U.S. Special Operation Mission in the region. Mothership is now paired with an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. Given the presence of 2 Ticonderoga-class cruisers in the general area, shift to dedicated DDG escort suggests a change in the mission parameters. Ocean Trader is back on the operational doorstep. Does she resume surveillance operations near her previous area, east of TNT, Trinidad and Tobago, or will there be a new area of recon? I believe that's what AOR is. We'll find out. Trump administration ongoing military buildup in Latin America, part of their current fight against drug trafficking cartels in the region, is now expanded to El Salvador. Recent satellite imagery obtained by the New York Times showing at least 3 military aircraft, including a specialized attack aircraft, on the ground at cooperative security location Comalapa, located at El Salvador International Airport. Sidebar, you'll notice that I'm talking about something from the New York Times here, right? Yeah. Someone's like, oh, why do you use New York Times? It's fake news. I use news from everywhere. You know why? Because you get an evolved view of things. If you just go to rightwingnutjob.com or leftwingnutjob.com or loserprogressive.com or, totalnationalistamerican.com, and you just get like one of the wing fringe views, you don't get the full picture. When you get it from normie news and left-wing news and right-wing news and normal news and obscure news and not so obscure news and news from all over everywhere, you get an evolved view. That's why we do that. Yes, I'm going to talk about New York Times sometime. I'm also going to go to places that really like Nick Fuentes. I'm also going to go to places that really think Zoran Mamdani is the best. I'm going to go to places that are considered some of the most anti-S, as in rhyming with a certain country in the Middle East. It's got a blue and white star. Also to the other side of things, that are places that are like Amir Sarfati, who's Mr. Israel. I get him from all over. Why? Because that makes your scope of understanding much larger. Doesn't mean I like it. Doesn't mean I agree with it. It just means you're going to hear it all. Sidebar off. 3 aircraft site of Kamalapa, which is one of the 2 such joint military sites operated by U.S. Southern Command, or SOUTHCOM, to support counter-drug operations in Central America and the Caribbean, include a U.S. Navy P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol and surveillance aircraft, a C-40 Clipper transport aircraft, as well as an AC-130 Ghost Rider ground attack gunship operated by U.S. Special Op Command, or SOCOM. Yes, OSINT Defender is a normie. President Trump just announced a tariff dividend, a payment of at least $2,000 per Americans. Expect 85% of U.S. adults to receive this, resulting in $400+ billion handed out. Newsflash. This is the Kobe essay letter. This is not normie news. This is the kind of news that you get when you're intelligent and you seek far and wide on the internet. All U.S. debt is going to near $40 trillion. What next? Let's explain. Why? Because we want you to be smart. President Trump made the below announcement. A dividend of at least $2,000 per person will be paid, excluding high-income people. Economic implications of such a massive stimulus-like payment are huge, especially with markets at record highs. Well, why is that, PrepperNow? Well, who's receiving the payment? Let's take a look at the most recent stimulus payment, March 2021, $1,400 stimulus check. Full payments were made to single filers, making up $75,000, households making up to $112,000, and married earners of $150,000. Now let's apply this same criteria to 2025. Currently, there are 220 million U.S. adults who fit these income criteria. Top 15% of earners would be excluded as high income. 220 million at $2,000 would be 440 billion handed out, and the check could be larger than $2,000. These payments come at a time where the wealth gap is at record highs. Ding, 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 ding. Q2 2025, consumers in the top 10% of the income distribution accounted for 49.2% of total U.S. spending. Marks the highest level in data going back to 1989. Big problem. Big problem. As seen in 2021, stimulus checks massively boost spending. One-time boost is followed by a long period of, you guessed it, High inflation. Following the last round of stimulus, U.S. inflation neared 10%. Inflation is back on the rise at 3%. More stimulus is coming. Trump also states that this, as after the payment, tariff revenue will go toward paying U.S. debt. Over the last 5 years alone, U.S. national debt has surged $10 trillion. Since the government shutdown began on October 1st, U.S. debt is up $600 billion. Can we really afford more stimulus? Okay? No, we don't need a stimulus. We need to cut spending. We need to cut spending. And it's not going to happen until the whole thing ish the bed. It is. Welcome to the Crisis Report, home of the smart kids. If you're not smart and you say stupid stuff, leave. Go find the dumb people. They're everywhere. We're going to stay here in the AP class, learning you and getting you strong and ready for the big crapping of the bed that is right around the corner. And yes, it's going to happen in your lifetime. When the stock market goes up, it doesn't affect everybody, and not everyone will invest. Trump says, oh, it does. It does. People have 401ks. 401ks are double now what they were a year ago. Reporter says that grocery prices are up. Trump says, nope, you're wrong. They were under Biden, and now they're going down now. Now, there are some things, but spending as a general, rule is our prices are up across the board. And they're going up in places where people can't really control them, like healthcare. Millionaire CEO warns that the current U.S. economic situation could spark a revolution. Oh my gosh, that is correct. Get ready, get your pitchforks or your anti-pitchfork technology. BBC Director General Tim Davie and Chief Executive of News Deborah Turnus have resigned following concern about impartiality. Let me give you a little news flash. The BBC is the mouthpiece of a bunch of rich dicks on the left who want their entire culture to crap the bed and make it so Britain and the larger part of Europe are complete shells of what they were 30 years ago and are ruinous places that you don't want to visit, which is why I visited last summer and I'll never be going back. Let's go to the chat and see what we got in here. Nice. Hudson Valley, how you doing, buddy? There you go. There's someone I like. I'm here. I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood. If you're going to cash that check, Scrappy, go put it towards gold and silver. You're welcome. I am not a financial analyst, okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to say right now, you do you. Don't listen, do listen, whatever. That's not financial advice. That's my opinion, and that's what I'm doing. More American children being born. America is doomed. Yep, that's correct, troll country. Some aren't ready to settle down and buy a house. No, they're not. It's true. Back in the house. Microsoft program, reboot, reload, reprogram. Yep, that's us. That's us. There it is. Yep. Oh, I'm in a mood. Hi, Michigan. All right. So stopping the overspending fraud would give us more money than we can use. Fraud is bad, and we're paying for it. Absolutely correct. That's why she is M.Ed and is awesome. Oh, Jimmy, come in, that tab. I admit I got a little thing about Pelosi coming in a moment. We're going to talk about how she likes to drink. But Jimmy is ready for that $4,000 that the American government going to give. I'm going to go out and get that 9,342-inch screen and just sit there and watch the foosball every day and just sit back and have Doritos and nice, drinks, some of which are of a mind-altering experience, so we can just, anesthetize ourselves and go through this world and just get ready for the big old collapse that's going to come. Boom. Investigations reveal Nancy Pelosi has over $133 million in profit. That's 30 years of stock trading, dog. Oh, God, that's a lot of vodka. I have achieved a stunning 17,000% return, and the outperformed the Dow Jones by 11 billion times. I'm going to go buy a couple planets and eat beautiful designer ice cream on your dime. I'm retiring. Pelosi out. Russia attacked and put out at location all thermal power plants in Ukraine last night, according to the company. Same thermal power plants that had been restored. Attacks in 2024. Multiple Russian drone attacks each minute over the night of November 8th. Russia has proven it's capable to demolish Ukrainian energy generation capacity, infrastructure supplying to civilian and industrial consumers, and its weapons manufacturing facilities. Despite the risk of having their facilities destroyed, or at the very least impossible to operate due to lack of power, Ukraine's Western partners are undeterred and are prepared to fund the construction of military factories. Yes, we all gonna die. That's right. News and entertainment. That's right. Actually, I used to do comedy there, Terry Alexander. That's all right. I've only got 10,600 subscribers, half of the last year, 48 months, something like that. We never gain here because nobody likes us, right? Borg, Borg, Borg. We are the Borg. We are in control. We will promote the dumb. The smart channels, like Hudson Valley, will be hindered, and you will not grow, so we pander to the dumb. The dumb will be pandered to. The Borg is in control. We need you idiotic and ready to have a collapse that will take everything from you. Gosh, it's almost like he's speaking truth to power. U.S. Department of Agriculture sent a letter to all American states to stop and recover the sums of money used as SNAP benefits to impoverished citizens, or just regular citizens, because with 42 million, I'm sure some are just normal people. USDA warns that if the states do not stop and do not recover these funds, they will cut federal funding and sue them and force them to pay compensation. Food distribution line at Nellis Air Base, Las Vegas. I'll be putting that short out here pretty soon. The servicemen and the families now relying on the generosity of their fellow Americans and donating food from food banks as the politicians in D.C. fail to reopen the government, pay their salaries, and refuse to provide the much-needed SNAP benefits. And long lines have formed outside food banks in Cleveland, Ohio, like much of America, because federal SNAP payments are paused due to the ongoing government shutdown. Yes, nobody is coming to save you. Thank you, Copper Indio. Thanks for doing that. Yes, the Borg is ready to take you all in and turn you into the wards of the state. You will not resist the Borg. Good Lord. I hate being kinda okay smart. I hate it. Don't you hate it, Hudson? Seriously. You see this crap. You know exactly what they're doing. You know exactly what they're doing. You see it. You know exactly what they're doing. And everybody else is just, you know, like going along. And you're like, I feel like freaking Rowdy Piper from They Live. Literally. And all the signs are saying, obey, you know, and they're all like, I gotta eat Doritos. I like Doritos. It burns. It burns. Holy crap, folks. If you are not stacking, stocking, and sticking to some form of a plan that will keep your head on a swivel, your powder dry, and ready to just rock it out when this whole thing goes sideways, and it's gonna. You best get her done now. Please. Whew. I feel better. We're brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals, folks. If you want to take your retirement fund, which I'm sure will totally be there in 20 years, you know, take it and put it into the gold and silver IRA 401k. That's what Augusta Precious Metals does. There's a link in the description. Okay. I'm sponsored by them, and that's for a reason, because they're a good company. They're Better Business Bureau, and they are highly rated because they do good work. If you're into it. If you're not, I get it. It's cool. Move on. Other than that, PrepperNow community is all over. We're on Twitter, X, Mind, Truth, Gab Social, Subscribestar, Local, Substack. We can get a transcript of this into your inbox. And if it comes and you don't like it, check this out. Burn 1/75th of a calorie and hit delete. And you got to look at it again. That's what I do. I have all kinds of things I get emails for. I don't like them. I don't freak out and dial the come on, man. Why are you sending me an email? Delete. Oh, look at that. Delete. Gosh, I guess I don't delete. Yeah, pretty simple. All right, folks. I'm out. I'm done. I'm going to go watch some sports ball, eat some chips, dips, chains, and whips, and get ready for the collapse of American society. Good luck. God bless you. Love you. See ya.